buyouts are brewing. Are you as informed as you need to be? Let's find out. Stay tuned. It's coming up next. Hi, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel and you've somehow found me out there on YouTube, thanks a lot for checking out my content today. I do hope you enjoy it and stick around and join the fun. Remember to hold the line of reserve list cards. Hold them. Don't sell them. Make it better. Alright guys, remember, if you're new to my channel, I do upload 7 days a week with new content. What you'll find here on my channel is a lot of reserve list content. You will find me 11:15 Eastern Standard Time from Monday all the way through to Saturday. And on Sundays, you'll find me Eastern Standard Time from 7:30. I'll be around that time, okay, in the evening. Because, you know, you got stuff to do with your family. You got to hang with the people, you know, chill out a little bit. So, guys, what do you guys think? Are we feeling that reserve list? Are we feeling the buyouts are done? Because it was very interesting, some of the data that I compiled and went through this week in between making all these videos. I didn't get everything done I wanted to get done, but I do have a fairly well and informed piece of video for you guys today. I really hope you enjoy it, because there is some upticks and downticks and some weird shenanigans in the background that the pizza delivery guy doesn't want you to know about. Now, I want to start off by mentioning that buyouts come and go. Okay, there's been first round, second round. There'll be retreats depending on people's financial things. Maybe they dove in too early and they can't hold the cards they bought now. I always kind of preach the moderate tone of don't buy unless you have cash, and it's cash you're not going to miss. Because just like any investment or anything you buy, you got to be ready for the fact you may not ever get your money back. That's why you have to be careful with what you buy and pay attention. So in this case, I thought it was interesting that some of the cards I saw going up. We're going to talk about Salvati Excavations. It's kind of the fun card on the channel that we like to buy. And, pardon me, when we started this card, it was at like $8, roughly, $7, $8 American. A little bit lower in some cases when it was dipping up and down. But it's continued to climb. And what I found fascinating when I looked at this is when you go to MTG Goldfish, you'll see this card is actually dipping on their side. They're saying this card's dropping. But nowhere on eBay's sales do we see any of this kind of dippage that they're talking about. So unless they're talking TCG Player, which by the way still had very strong sales, although there was lots of copies for sale. eBay.com, yes, they had copies for sale, but none of them fell, like the sales that have sold, if you take a look, right? 36, 56 kind of Best Buy offer, and like the 88 for 4, which works out to 20-something each. How did it go from 34 all the way down to like 27? That's a huge dip, right? Massive decrease. And you look at what's for sale here, you see the 25s, 34, 45. Okay, guys, things can happen on all of these sites to make things look a certain way. If somebody's trying to get you to sell, they're going to make that card dip, right? We've talked about this before, where they try to bear hunt you out and bear raid you by forcing the price down. Most of us who bought these cards have no intention of selling them, but that doesn't mean that there will be bigger investors out there trying to sucker people into selling their cards, making them think that this market is crashing, this area of reserve list. And in some cases, it actually does happen. The market crashes because they caused it. Or just honestly, the market can't hold or sustain the prices that it's at. That's how things work in the real world. You got to be prepared to take your lumps and lose all your money. But at least, unlike the stock market where you can end up with zero, you're going to get to keep the magic card at least and still play the game. I saw some videos recently where people were discussing the fact that, oh, you shouldn't hold reserve list boxes. It takes up too much storage space. You should go and buy reserve list cards. Maybe an Underground Sea instead of some boxes of a Magic set. I understand that analogy, the feeling of it. I get it, the storage space, totally. But if my stock goes to zero in Magic and those boxes are worthless, I still get to crack the box and play with those cards for the next 50 years of my life, and that's pretty awesome. Or I can have an Underground Sea and just be all by its lonesome. So I get why people do both, all right? But in the case of Salvati here, it shouldn't be dipping the way it is. None of my data shows that it should dip this way. It should have retraced $1 or something, the way I look at it, not $6, $7. So wait to see if that's going to rebound back up. I'm following it very closely to see, but it was very interesting to see that they had said this was dipping a bit when it shouldn't be dipping. Okay, it was honestly. And then there was a few cards, by the way, in Modern, stuff like Mox Amber, of course, which I follow, continues to go up. So the market's a little wacky right now, so don't buy into it too much. Look at sold prices. Look and see what things are actually selling for and how often they're selling, which is what you're looking at here on the screen, right? You're seeing how often something's sold. There are a lot of sales that are slowing down. That doesn't mean the buyout's over. It just means instead of selling 30 or 40 copies a week, they're selling one a week. One every couple of days. That's how it's going, okay? And that's what I'm seeing a lot of. So Salvati, it's doing very well. It has no concerns. And again, most of us who bought it to hold it. So we want to have them, not give them up. Now our next card is going to be for Rexium Portal. Now this card I actually consider underrated still. When you see like $8 there for a lightly played copy with like $4 shipping, that's like $12 a card. That's reasonable for what this card can do. You could have some fun. You can mix in Jace there. For Rexium Portal, like exiles cards from your hand. Your library. And then what happens goes into two piles. Your opponent's going to exile, like one pile's going to the graveyard. But remember, Jace wants you to get to the end of your library. So there are combinations I don't think people think about with this card that are very doable. Not to mention, it lets you sort your deck very fast, especially if you have ways of recycling your deck. So for Rexium Portal, underrated, still a great card to use. Okay, and it really slows down because you can't use it if you only have 10 cards left. So it can only go down to like the 10 card mark, which is almost perfect for Jace. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting that this card is still hanging around that $10, $11 mark. I would definitely put it on my buy list to pick up a couple copies if you don't have it. I would pick up a couple copies at that price range. I wouldn't pay the $29.99 yet, but for $10, $11 from Alliances, yeah, that's worth getting a playset. I say yes. Now, our next card up is going to be Wheel. Now, Wheel of Fortune has been the starting point of these sales when we saw Wheel just jumping and crashing and going through walls to get to the price it was at. And you can see it's still 500, 600, 370. I typed in revised sales to see how it was going. And it is slowing down. Okay, the sales are slowing. And there is a lot more stock on the market. When I checked places like TCG Player, they had like hundreds of copies available. So this card has been restocked, and there are some people trying to cash out some profits, which is good news for those of you who want the price to go down, because you're seeing it dip a little bit now, right? You see $399, not $500 anymore. It's dipping down. So this card is retracing a bit, and that's not a bad thing. But remember, it's never going to go back down to where it was. It's just retracing probably about 20% is what I expect this card to drop by in total, and depending on condition and where it is, okay, and how shipping works out and what part of the country you're in. So in Canada, if you can find it for anywhere around the $300 mark, that's awesome. $500 though, I wouldn't be paying that right now. I would hold off, save some coin, and see if this card drops further. And of course, if you haven't, you want to sell it, this probably is an okay time to get profits if you're going to undermarket. If you want to put it like 20-30% below what the lowest price is, you will sell fast. If you want to get top dollar, you're going to have to hold it and wait for the next uprise because it is not done yet. This card has a lot of movement still. And it's because the price ranges make it a little bit freaky for people. But price memory will settle in, and this card will become its new norm price in about 12 to 16 months. Kind of crazy, right? To see it jump that fast. Still holding on. Now, all right, Mox Diamond coming at you. Now, Mox Diamond, here we go. Sales are strong. It's still selling multiple copies a week. But the funny thing is, the bad condition ones are dropping in price. When you see the sales there, 600, 670, and 8 something, and of course, there's some Japanese copies in there, but sorry, mute that out. And then when you look over here, and you're seeing copies around that 650 mark, one of them not in English, but the other ones are. That's not bad for beat up copy. I myself am saving toward these types of cards, and I hope to get one soon. But I'm just thinking if I should save up for this one, which I can get sooner, or save later for the Cradle, because it turns out some nice people on the channel offered to help me out, but I really can't part with the cards I want to part with. I started to pull them out. I'm like, I like my cards too much. So I'm not willing to give up any of my cards. I'm holding the line on those reserve lists, and I will just try to save up some cash and coin to try to get these bad boys into my house as soon as possible. So good, strong sales. And remember, this card is not going anywhere. Artwork's iconic. People want it. BGS 9 copies like $1,700, right? This is doing well. So way to go, Mox Diamond. You're definitely on a buy still. And the last card I want to talk about today, which I thought was interesting, is Null Rod. Now, of course, I pulled one when we opened Weatherlight Gem Mint. This card has risen a smidge, and it's kind of stayed static. I guess there's just too many cards. It has quite a few copies for sale. And you can see there, you know, it's 100 and something selling. Near mint copy saw 172, but that's a little bit further back. And when you look here, 105, 129, 126. So again, the buyers and sellers are kind of meeting in the middle, which is a good place to be. Everyone's kind of happy right now. They're doing their dance. I buy, you buy. I sell, you sell. It's all good. So way to go, because this card is a happy card right now. It is in a good spot. Do I expect it to go higher? For those who are going to ask that question, absolutely. It nullifies artifacts, guys. There's no more opening the market. I was probably one of the last Weatherlight boxes you're ever going to see opened as a whole box, right? All we have left now are loose packs that people may have, but opening for like $70, $80, $90 a pack, most people aren't going to open their packs at this point. They're going to hold them. So very cool. Very curious to see if this one will go higher later on, but I'm not going to check on this one as frequently since the price really seems to have stabilized, okay? So that's all I have for you guys today on Market Watch today. Tomorrow is our Saturday pre-recorded video, and it will be another Market Watch video because there was more stuff to cover. And because I put out the 3,000 subscriber mark video, I couldn't do anything about it, okay? And I know that video was really long, and I really appreciate the people who took the time to watch the whole video because it meant that my YouTube stuff did not get too messed up, although the views are messed up for me because obviously videos like this aren't as popular to watch. It's okay. I understand. It's going to be, a long video because it's an hour plus. But thanks a lot, guys. Opening those packs was epic. And for all the new subscribers who've joined, well, thank you so much for checking out the content today. This was MTG Moxman. I'll see you guys tomorrow on a pre-recorded Saturday video. Have a great one. And now I click the stuff and make the things disappear. And then I'm going to go make dinner. Yum. Hey guys, big shout out to my patrons. I hope you guys watched the video that I put out yesterday for the 3,000 subscriber video because I had some tidbit in there for you might want to catch up on. Thanks a lot for tuning in. My patrons are amazing as always. Talk to you guys soon.